in here.
Right.
There it's starting. Okay, recording in progress. You all right?
I don't know.
It's gonna be all right.
Well, hi. No,
Hello.
I am sideways. Hold on. Do I need to be the other way around? Let me see what's going on here. Does it have to be this way?
Oh, cool.
I guess so.
I see you now.
What's up? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm
We
good.
have Rainbow
Been a long week and weekend.
Yeah, I bet. That Grammy week was pretty cool.
It was really busy, but super fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, we have Rainbow Llamacorn with us today. So we both run Damnation Ball, so we do tag team interviews sometimes. So
Amazing.
yes.
That's awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for wanting to do this. Your music is so amazing. Like
Thank you. That really means a lot. Thank you.
yeah, it's so refreshing. Like
Thank
it's
you.
amazing. Um, yeah, you released Pigs, which features William Patrick Corgan, aka Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins. Which is
Crazy, right?
yeah.
Like, how is that even real life?
And the song is totally like, amazing. And so like when you were creating We Are Pigs, you had your own sound in mind, and that's like what the Slipknot cover of Duality was all about. So or like what I hear anyway. So like what kind of energy do you feel that Billy really incorporated into this song that you feel is different from like your music without any collaboration?
I mean, Billy is just a genius, you know. He really when collaborating and writing with him, he understands how chords work and how just adding like a seventh or a minor or shifting a key somewhere will just change the whole emotive value of the song. And that was really special. I felt like the song without Billy was just very pedestrian. It kind of just cruised, and then when he came and changed a couple of the root notes and added a couple of different chords, and it really just it brought the song to an emotional roller coaster journey, which I think when you listen to Pumpkins records, that's what his albums do. So it was really amazing to learn from one of the greatest of all time.
Definitely. So what was that like reflective state of mind like after you and Billy like completed the song, and especially lyric wise? Like what was that like after when you were just sitting back listening to it and everything?
You know, there's a saying amongst musicians and producers and songwriters that you get demo-itis, and it was like, you know, we'd been sitting with a certain version of the song for like 3 years before Billy collaborated on the track. So it was definitely like a big mental shift. You know, it had to be like, wow, sitting back and really being objective and trying to be emotionally disconnected in the first half of listening and collaborating and experimenting. And then now just stepping back, it's so much better than it ever was. We were hoping that Billy would jump on vocals for the bridge, but as you know, he just released an album like 2 days after we released Pig. So he's a really, really busy guy. And the fact that he even got in just on the music side was amazing.
Yeah, you've worked with so many different artists. Like it's mind blowing to listen to your like all of the songs you have. I mean, you worked with Head from Corn, which is so cool too, and working like on the Gray Days album and Dave Navarro, like all of these artists, it's so cool. So like, how do you feel like working with all of these different artists? Like it widens your perspective on the music industry as a whole because you've seen the music side like in the United States and also in South Africa as well, and you've also produced, a lot of artists as well.
I always go into every session or every experience with an artist as a learning an opportunity. Like, what can I learn from this person? I know what I can do and what I bring, and I think as an evolving musician, producer, artist, engineer, the best thing you can do in every circumstance is like, how can I serve this project best? How can I bring out the best in this person? So that's how I go into every session or opportunity, and working with all of these people. These artists are my heroes. I grew up. It just really is crazy to think that as a kid in South Africa, like 12,000 miles away from any of these people, that they would be my friends, that we would be able to sit as peers and have a cup of tea and write a song. So it's kind of mind blowing. I still have to pinch myself every day. But they're heroes, and it's really is what can I learn from you? And it's so wonderful because what I've found is that they pretty much have the same philosophy. They go into the room with me going, what can I learn from you? It's always egoless and just such a wonderful collaborative space.
Yeah, what do you feel like as a very important foundation that you have incorporated into like what you do now, like opposed to when you first began producing and becoming an artist, so to speak?
Wow, I mean, I'm learning every day. I think over my years of being in this, I think, when I was a teenager in my 20s, I was like an egotistical shithead, so it was kind of it. I went into the room going like, I am the greatest of all time. And now it's not, as you get older and you progress and you learn, just I think coming with that as an egoless leader, that's always how I see it when I'm going to the room producing records or working with people. It's like, I'm here to listen to you. I'm here to help you articulate your vision. And how can I do that in the most emotionally intelligent and loving way? So, I mean, that's kind of what I've learned over my 25 years of being in the music industry. I've had to fall on my face a lot to get to the place I am now, and I'm still evolving every day.
Yeah, Angie, you want to take over for some questions?
Sure. When you were working with Gray Days, were there any moments where it felt like Chester was just there in the room with you, like his full energy?
Oh my gosh, like every day. It was insane. Even before, I mean, we worked on, when I first got the Grey Days reels, and extracted Chester's vocal off of those tapes. It was such an incredibly haunting experience, because it's literally just me in my studio with Chester in headphones, and it was like whispering in my ear the whole time, you know. And my job was to be like, how can I serve you best, because you aren't here with your own voice, you know? How can I make your voice that you it was such an incredible experience. And there's so many times when we were tracking and the band would just be like, oh my gosh, I just got like full body chills, like I can feel Chester right here. It really was. This album and these two albums were done in a completely selfless and loving way to just lift Chester in the highest capacity.
What was it that inspired you to like mix new metal and trap? It's a very interesting sound.
It is. You know, I work on a lot of hip hop and trap records. So I guess during the pandemic, I was just inspired to create something different. And I think, you know, a lot of that inspiration did come from working on the Grey Days record, because Chester is the king of hybrid. That's what he did. That's what Linkin Park did. He was never afraid to push boundaries and like step outside of what people thought the box was. And so I've always been a massive fan of new metal. It's no secret how much I love the Deftones and Korn, Alien Ant Farm, all those bands. You know, they kind of spawned my love for heavy music. So during the pandemic, being able to just be by myself and program drums, you know, I'm not able to get into the room with a band. So I was like, let's just program something. Let's program some 808s and then put really heavy guitars over it. And I mean, it's not a new concept. People have been doing it for a long time, but it kind of became its own thing. And it's definitely the thing I love the most about this project is that it's completely self-serving. It's like it's for me and for nobody else. And I think that's why people love it, is because it's just art. You know, it's like unapologetic, and it is what it is. And if you don't like it, I don't care.
Right. Exactly. So you're working with Shifty Shellshock of Crazy Town, right? Is there anything you can tell us, any details about that, or like what kind of personality that song's gonna have?
Oh my gosh, it's so cool. I cannot wait for you guys to hear it. I'll give you guys a little sneak preview.
Let's see. My God.
if I can put it up. Actually, we worked on this song a while ago. But it's the next single coming out. I don't know if you can hear this, but look at what I've done. Now I'm broken hearted when it started out as fun. Now I sit inside and close the curtain. I don't want to see the sun. My daddy always told me that you shouldn't play with guns. I'm only 60, my soul is corroded. I run up myself and I drown in the ocean. I'm laying on the floor. That's what you get.
Oh wow! Thank you.
It's really cool. It's like it's a super pop track. We wrote it for radio. It's kind of like, you know, a Youngblood Halsey kind of mashup. And we were meant to film the video for it last Saturday, and Shifty was shooting another video and knocked his teeth out, which is crazy. So we had to postpone the video. But the song should be coming out in March, and we're very proud of it. It's about the story of his sobriety and, you know, battling with addiction and alcohol and drugs. So it's really personal and really special. It's honestly one of my favorite songs that I've been a part of. So really excited for you guys to hear it.
I'm excited to hear it.
From what you played for us, thank you so much. It sounds so. I cannot wait to hear the full version.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. It's awesome.
Yeah, and that's really cool that it's about addiction, because damn, that is something to go through.
Sure is. It sure is.
It really is. Like, speaking from experience, it's always cool to have songs like that to relate to and connect to, because sometimes it doesn't matter if you go to meetings or not. Sometimes you still feel like isolated. You know what I mean?
Totally. I definitely have a lot of empathy and love for people battling those demons, you know. So this was really special, and Seth and I have a special bond, and we're hoping to be able to. We're actually talking about doing a rehab tour, which is going to be really cool. Just doing something different, and just like doing an acoustic thing, you know, just going around and talking to people, and so yeah, it's really exciting.
That is so cool, because music is like the way to get the message out, and it just produces all of.
I agree.
Yeah, and like, so you have some like very your lyrics are very powerful, and they're about like overcoming, especially like the society standards or like conformity and everything. So my question is, like, if you were to be listening to your music, like, as a fan outside of being SJ, like, what do you think would be the song that would have the most profound impact on you?
Whoa. That's a crazy question. Wow.
And I'm sober coming up with these.
Yeah, love it. You know, I think a song that I'm incredibly attached to, and maybe lyrically it's not the one that would answer your question best, but I feel like our first original single, Pulse Queen, that for me, I wrote that song about the music industry, and just kind of like feeling like an outsider that could never get in, and that I was never pretty enough or skinny enough, or, you know, like all of the things. And I think that that's something that everybody can relate to in every circumstance in life, you know, whether it be friend circle, relationships, work, you know, there's always like society, and people are so cliquey, you know, it's like that Mean Girls, like, oh, you can't sit with us vibe, you know. And I feel like it can be, that for me was just a really big aha moment of just being like, you know, a big F you, because my life and my self-worth is not on whether you open doors for me or not, you know. So I think your self-worth really just comes from like, how good a person are you being, like, can you give back, like, do you love yourself, are you good to yourself, you know. So it was really like this growing moment for me, and that's what that song's about, just kind of like, I'm just like, I'm losing my mind in this industry that I've worked my entire life to get acceptance from, And it's like with everything in life, it's maybe you'll never get it. So it's just finding that peace within yourself.
That's empowering, because it really is like that. It's crazy. Because I mean, it's like it shows, like with the music industry, I'll bring this up. Just women are very much outnumbered.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe not, but it seems that way because of the society's way in the media, on it's like festivals, not only in the US but all over the world. It is very much lopsided.
Oh my gosh, totally. I'm a part of an amazing nonprofit organization called We Are Moving the Needle, and it's basically for women in the audio industry, and they just came out with stats that 2.8% of women in the industry are producers. Like that's it. That's what the stat is, so there's not a lot of representation, and so this organization is trying to find allies to help bring more women up into the engineering game, the producer game, like the songwriting game. I think the artist percentage, I think, was like 28% this year. The songwriter percentage was like 13%, and then production and engineers was 2.8% for women, which is just, it's grossly lopsided. And honestly, I just don't think that women are given a fair chance, in the industry. So it's great to support organizations. Go check out wearemovingtheneedle.org and just see how you can be a part of it.
Yes, we need more women in music. I mean,
we really do.
We do. I mean, even working backstage, like at some shows, it's been like I'm one of the very few women back there.
Totally.
Yeah. And I think like with festivals, the lineups and stuff, there's a handful of artists that have women in there, and then there's all of these bands that are all male, which I mean, they're amazing bands, no question about that. It does kind of get discouraging for women, because it's like if you look for more female artists that would,
Agreed.
put them on the lineup, it would open like so many
Agreed.
more doors.
Yeah. Totally. It totally would.
Yeah. Angie, your turn.
Okay.
I know you're tired.
Would you be willing to give us any info on future collabs? Maybe someone that people don't know you're going to be working with, if possible?
I don't have anything cemented in the lineup right now. I always have my dreams and my hopes, and people that I've put in the call to be like, hey buddy, when you have a moment, can you? I mean, Chino from Deftones is one of my dream collabs. Alanis Morissette, dream collab. So it's really just finding the time. COVID was just as terrible as it was such a great time for creation, because nobody was touring. So people were like, oh, okay, cool, I've got some time. Let's do it. Like, that sounds like fun. So now everyone's back on the road now and busy. So it's just, when it happens, it happens. But thank you for asking. I'm excited. You will be the first to know.
You like Limp Bizkit, right?
Love Limp Bizkit.
What kind of connection do you have with their music?
There's just something. I mean, Limp Bizkit's like my workout playlist go-to. It's just like that. If I'm in a bad mood, put on Limp Bizkit. If I just feel like somebody's pissing me off, put on Limp Bizkit. They just they capture such a emotional, vibrant frequency that I'm just like, yes.
I love listening.
I would love to collab with Fred. Fred, if you're listening, give me a call, buddy.
I think Wes would also be awesome because he could write an
Oh my
awesome list
gosh.
for you to
Yeah.
sing.
Wes is incredible. It's actually we're all in the same friend circle, and it's for some reason we've never connected, and but that's a must. Definitely, he's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, his guitar riffs are they don't even sound humanly possible.
Right. Sometimes
Seriously.
I don't. What was the first Limp Bizkit song that you can recall ever listening to?
I think Nookie. I do. I grew up not listening to I grew up in the church, so I wasn't actually allowed to listen to secular music, growing up. So I think when I started getting exposed to music, I was listening to all like the big hits first, before getting onto like the album cuts and stuff like that. So I think it was Nookie, or it might have been watching MTV in South Africa. What was that amazing music video? What was the song where like he's eating a burger and it turns to worms?
I don't know. I can't think of that one.
I can't
I'm
remember. I
surprised.
can't
I'm
remember the
pretty
song,
tired.
but it was one of those.
I'll tag in now.
Okay.
Perfect.
So it's like being your own producer, and like especially like with your own music, you embrace the imperfections rather than like try to smooth them over 20 billion times or re-record them. Like I know you've talked about this before in some of your other interviews. So were there any moments that you had, like especially with the songs that you have up right now with We Are Pigs or upcoming songs, that there were moments where you just were like, just cringed at, but kept them anyway?
Yeah, totally. Like the verses on Clavicle, the song with Keith Wallen from Breaking Benjamin. Those lyrics are not actually even lyrics. They were more like mumbles on the verses, and it was just a vocal melody and lyric idea. And then when we rewrote the verses and I recut the vocal, I just didn't like them as much. So I actually left in the mumble weird verses that was in a demo, probably done with my speakers on, because I preferred how they made me feel to the actual lyrics that we'd written. And Keith actually agreed. He was like, yeah, I much prefer the verses of the demo mumble. They have a more Bjorky kind of thing, whereas the new ones feel like they've been thought about a little bit too much. And I think that's really interesting, because even when I'm working with other artists, sometimes I feel when we come to recut the vocals, I feel like the demo vocal was cooler because you were in the emotion that day. It's like, and sometimes you just can't get that emotion back. And I know for myself, and maybe it's just because I'm not a good enough singer or whatever it is, but I can't. Sometimes I just cannot recapture what happened in that moment. Like the scream will never sound the same again, or like that particular weird thing that I did, I'll never be able to capture that again. So especially with We Are Pigs, it's a project really just for my artistic satisfaction. So I'm like, it's okay, we'll let it go.
That's so cool. It's always so cool to like hear all of this.
It's just art, right?
Yeah, so, art makes the world go round. Art,
totally.
Music is art. And so you also, so I'm gonna be a fangirl on this. You also are working with OTEP and
yes.
So what all is going on with that? And is this part of OTEP's new album, or is this on Cinnamon Babe's album, or what all can you tell us?
So I co-wrote and co-produced 2 songs on OTEP's new album coming up. And unfortunately the label is only putting it out, I think, in like October now, which is very frustrating. One of the reasons why I'm just like, don't do labels, because it's, you just want to, if you want to release something, just release it. And who knows, I mean, hopefully they have a great plan. But yes, I've been working with Cinnamon Babe, and she's a total badass. And so I called up a friend favor with OTEP, and I was like, hey, would you mind jumping on this track with us? I'm actually editing the vocals right now behind me. I'll see if we can you can't really hear it, but I'm busy editing those vocals right now, and it's so heavy and so brutal. And OTEP is she is the king of metal vocals. Like she really is. It's a lot of people forget where this sound came from, and as far as I know, she was the first woman in history to do that. So it's such a privilege to work with her, and she's a massive inspiration of mine. Like a lot of people, they're like, oh wow, you sound just like OTEP. She's a lot growlier than I am, but I definitely picked up a lot of her special nuances throughout finding my voice. So it's always an honor and a privilege to collaborate with her. And hopefully Stormy, she's putting out, we're doing a 5-song EP, and hopefully it'll be out beginning of April. That's what we hope. So we are and we're trying to get some special collabs with Skin from Skunk and Nancy, who I'm a massive fan of, Tom Morello. I've put out a couple of calls just to see, if we can get some collabs going. So if you don't ask, you don't get, and the worst anybody can say is no.
Very, very true. That is so true. And you also are working with Miss Velvet, which she's more like kind of rock and roll. Like, I love her voice. And
oh my gosh.
And I know she has a single coming out on February 14th, Lovin' in
Yes.
the
Yes.
So
oh my gosh. She is unlike anybody that I've heard in like 50 years. Like if you think Aerosmith meets Heart, it's a voice that I haven't heard, just because radio has become so cookie cutter, and all female vocals sound the same and all songs sound the same, and it's so refreshing to work with such a massive talent. Her voice is just mind-blowing. And yeah, so we spent a year working together on the record and recording it, and the first single, like you said, comes out February 14th, which is Valentine's Day, and it's called Loving in the Afternoon. I'm so excited for you guys to hear it. If you're into like classic rock, you're gonna love it.
Yes, definitely. That's like the snippet that I heard. I'm like, whoa, this is like throwback, but it's in today's music. It's so cool.
Totally a part of our vision together was, how do we harness the energy and vibe of when you're listening to Joan Jett records or Heart records, and the Led Zeppelin records. Like, how do we harness that energy but still make it sonically stand up against other songs today? So it was definitely a challenging project, completely joyful, and I'm so honored to be a part of it. I cannot wait for you guys to hear it.
I can't wait. And I'm gonna tag this to Angie now, to Rainbow Longhorn.
Tag.
Who else are you producing for that you're able to tell us about?
I mean, currently I've got a bunch of irons in the fire. Some of them I can't speak about because they haven't been penned yet, just with label stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty much fully booked until the end of the year already. So
Wow.
as you see them pop up on my Instagram, you will know.
Okay. Um, do you ever plan on releasing like a full album, or do you just want to continue releasing singles?
I think it makes sense to release a full album. I've just kind of been trying to figure out the Instagram and
Yeah.
Spotify and Apple Music playlist algorithm. And I feel that dropping singles every 6 to 8 weeks just keeps the algorithm working in the artist's favor. Um, it definitely, I'm also a believer that people don't really listen to full records anymore unless they are fans already. So I think when you are just building a brand or building yourself as an artist, I think it's better just to drop a song as much as you can, even if it's every 2 weeks, if you have the capacity to do that, just to keep people excited, because then it's not like listening to a full album all in one go. It's something fresh every 2 weeks or every month. So but yes, I'm in discussions with a record label at the moment about doing a full length record, but it depends if I have the capacity to do that or not. It was during COVID, worked in my favor just because I was able to get 12 collabs going and then release them over these past couple of years. But I would love to. We'll see how my bandwidth is with other projects.
Right. I think that's all the questions I have. Do you have any more, Jen?
Okay. Yeah, I do have a so being from South Africa, that's so cool. So what are shows like out there versus like when you walk into a venue out in Los Angeles?
What? So can you repeat that, please? You cut out there for a second.
Yeah, so like in South Africa, what are going to shows like? Like when you walk into the venue out there, and what is the energy like? And like opposed to like when you walk into a venue in Los Angeles and go see a show.
I feel like the energy for like metal and rock is universal, so whether you're in Europe or South Africa or Mexico or the States, I think when you walk into a venue and it's Slipknot playing, the energy is the same. It's the same demographic. It's the same people that you come together with a common love for this band. So I feel like it's pretty much the same. I haven't been back to South Africa for about 5 years now, if not a little bit longer. 2016, I think. 16. Yeah, so a little longer. That's like 7 years. Whoa. But yeah, I think it's pretty universal. Wherever you go, it's a venue is a venue, really.
True, you never know because it could be different. But also, like when you first began, like with your band Stealing Love Jones, were you kind of what was the music industry like out there? Were you because your band is kind of like alternative rock-ish?
Yeah.
Like, were you kind of like the odd ones out who made a statement out there, or what was it like when you
I
were
think
beginning?
Yeah, I think the rock music scene is pretty small in South Africa. I think the biggest selling music or the genre is Kwaito, which is like hip hop, and Afrikaans. So like the rock scene is pretty small. So I always feel very lucky that we came up in that scene because we were such big fish in such a small pond. It was like there weren't a lot of like female fronted rock bands at the time, and now I see there's more in South Africa, which is really cool. So yeah, I mean, it was always great. I mean, we had Seether to, Seether's from South Africa and from my town. And it was really great to kind of follow in their footsteps. Sean kind of took me under his wing and taught me the ropes. So it was, I mean, it's a great vibe and a great scene. Definitely the demographic for rock is much bigger over here than it is in South Africa. And also South Africa is tiny. It's like it fits into Texas, so it's definitely, it's better for rock musicians out here in the States. Definitely a bigger market for it, for sure.
Yes, I can see that. All right. Well, those are all of my questions that I have, unless you have anything else you want to get out on Damnation Vault.
That is it. I'm so happy to have spoken to you guys. Thank you so much for your love and your time. And thank you for supporting We Are Pigs. And I can't wait to chat to you guys again.
Yes, I can't wait either. And I also gotta say, like, your song "Moot" with Morgan Lander of Kitty is amazing too. Like, it's her voice.
She's such a baddie. Oh my gosh, I just love her, and it's so cool because all of a sudden, like in the past week or two, we've just hit another Spotify algorithm where it's like they put us right at the top of the alternative metal playlist, which has got like Bring Me the Horizon on the cover. It's got almost, I think, 600,000 listeners. It's like, it's insane. So it's really cool to see what's being picked up and that people are supporting women in metal and rock. It's so badass.
Yes, we need more to even it out.
We really do, man. We really do.
Manifesting this with this interview.
That is right.
Fuck yeah. All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this, Esjay. It's been such an amazing interview. Oh my gosh, thank you.
I so appreciate you guys. Where are you guys, by the way?
I'm in Colorado.
So she's in Colorado. I'm in Fargo, North Dakota.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Well, I can't wait to come see you guys out there one day. That'll be amazing.
Yes.
That will be awesome.
Awesome. Thanks for the chat, girls. I can't wait to see you guys sometime in the near future, and thank you for your love.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your love.
Bye. Have a great day.
Bye. Thanks you as well.